Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's about 3 o'clock, heat of the day on this Saturday afternoon. I'm at my home BTS, the Prompong BTS station. That is looking down the way to Sukhumvit Soi 39. You'll find some of the most expensive real estate down Soi 39, Prompong. The next stop in this direction is a sulk. That would probably be considered central Bangkok, definitely for expats, anything around that Terminal 21 area, but that's going to come at a price. You're not going to find too many 10, 12, 14,000 baht apartments in this area. I have a pretty good deal at 19,000 baht. That was negotiated down from 22 for a 50 square meter, about 8-9 minute walk to BTS Prompong, but that is a bit of a one-off. 50, 60, well over 100,000 baht is not uncommon in this area. So many folks, including myself, considering moving over to Bangkok for retirement or just living affordably, they don't want to spend that kind of money. You'll hear different places like Bering. Now, this is the BTS Sukhumvit Light Green line. From here to Bering, a good 20, 25 minutes, I think. I'm just going by memory. Now, out there you can find 8, 10, 12,000 baht condos in beautiful new buildings all day long. 3-minute walk to the BTS. So you'll just have to decide how far from the quote-unquote central Bangkok and especially the more expat-friendly area, like right here where I'm standing. There are British pubs, Irish pubs, all kinds of markets to get Western foods. I know we're not moving to Bangkok to live like an American, Canadian, etc., but it does make life a little simpler. I mean, trust me, I eat 75% local Thai food and fruit and vegetables, but every now and then it's nice to get that perfect pizza or whatever the case is, Sunday roast. And it's going to be a little easier to find in an area like Prompong than Bering. So just keep that in mind if you're going to be on the train every day and coming down in the direction of a sulk or Bering. It might be worth the extra $200, $300, $400 extra dollars to live down here in a little bit more affordable place. If the sky's the limit, sure, you can get one of these beautiful apartments down Soi 39, $2,000 US a month and up. That same apartment in New York City might cost you $15,000 a month. I'm making these figures up, but I'm probably not that far off. But let's go to somewhere in between today on Newt. Oh, there's a beautiful Porsche. My home for a year. I was up on Soi 77. I think I'm going to take the train up and go in the other direction. There's my local fruit guy. Delicious. I'm going to go on the other side of 77 to Sukhumvit Soi 50, a very popular area for expats. I'll explain why when we get up there. Let's jump on the train from Prompong. 12 minutes, if memory serves me, so it's a little bit closer than heading out really down the tracks as far as you can go. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, even in Prompong, a sulk, you can get yourself a room for 10,000 baht or less. It's going to be in a lower rise, no frills building, probably have a Thai wet bath. There won't be a swimming pool or a gym, nothing fancy. It's going to be a kind of a locals only type building. If you want the more expat Western style building with a enclosed shower and a small gym, definitely a pool, you can find that here, but it's not going to be at 10,000 baht. It's not going to be at 20,000 baht often, and depending how close you are to the BTS, it can be 5 times as much. But down the way, down the track, things get a little bit cheaper, and yeah, you're 10-15 minutes away, so you know how much you're going to get out and about. Myself, I'm out walking around this area every single day, so for me it's worth it. And I went to on Newt because back in the day the conventional wisdom was you'll save 30-40% to live up in on Newt. At the time, that was the end of the line. The BTS ended it on Newt in one direction and Mokshit in the other. Today it goes, I don't know how many more stops past on Newt, maybe 20. I did them all. You can go back and search my channel if you're interested in Sukhumvit 101, up in the Udom Suk area and on. I did it all. It's definitely quiet up there. you're looking for quiet, yeah, head on up there and save some cash. If you're looking to experience the city a little bit more and be out and about 3, 4, 5 times a week, you might want to be down here in the quote-unquote center of the action a little more. The train does end at midnight. That's another consideration. There are buses that run up and down the street 24 hours, but yeah, that's how you're going to have to be getting out there unless you want to pay for grab cars. And from Masulk, it's just 5 train stops up to En Nut. From Prompong, it's 4. If you wanted to head to Bering, from Masulk, it's 10. Here in Prompong, it's 9 train stops away. So it's not like I'm asking you to head, 55 minutes outside of town. Certainly, things will get super cheaper. Not even that, 30 minutes outside of town. But again, I've said it 3 times now, these are just decisions you'll have to make depending on your lifestyle. Personally, living here in Prompong, I'll walk 2 train stops in either direction, and I rarely get on the train these days unless I'm going somewhere to meet somebody. And that's kind of nice for me anyhow. I also have a beach cruiser, so this is definitely living in New York City kind of lifestyle. I can just walk to 1,000 different places. And here we go, we made it to En Nut, and I didn't time it, it was 10 or 11 minutes. And this is my old stomping grounds. That is my old building right there, the Knightsbridge. That is Sukhumvit Soi 77, so those are good options. You can look up the Knightsbridge. The buildings right across the street are also fine choices. The deal with the Knightsbridge, now it's probably, 8 years old, but when I moved in, it was quote-unquote fairly new. So I paid 16,000 baht for a 33 square meter. That's an average size. You kind of have to get out of that Western way of thinking, I couldn't live in anything under 100 square meters. Well, that's fine, but you're going to pay 2-3 times the normal amount if you can even find I'm sure you can find a 100 square meter unit. It's not going to be there at the Knightsbridge. I think there's a couple of 90 square meter penthouse styles, and they're not going to be 16,000 baht. They're going to be 100,000 baht and more. And some of those other buildings are also nice. The only problem with Soi 77, it's a very busy thoroughfare. So across the street from the Knightsbridge, that other darkish building, I'm a little colorblind, I'm calling it dark blue, but correct me if I'm wrong, or don't correct me, just understand I'm colorblind. That is the Line building. I know at the same time I looked at the Knightsbridge unit. Now this was years ago, going on 3 now. I could have got a unit maybe a little smaller. I think it was a 31 square meter in the base for 12,000 baht. So let's assume that's 15 today. But you have to navigate busy 77, and there's no pedestrian bridge. So it's a little bit of a pain. You want to factor all those things in. It's easy for an outsider like me to say, well, move into this building for a month Airbnb and see how it goes. That's actually pretty good advice if you have the time and patience to do all that. Yeah, if you're kind of dead set on En Nut, well, move into the base. See how you like it. You're going to figure out pretty fast. It's a pain to get across 77 to get to the Big C or walk over here to the train. It's not far to walk over here. I think I did it in 6 or 7 minutes. It's just getting across that 77. It's just a whole other wrinkle. Now over here in this area, you also have this Verve building. This is feet from En Nut BTS. It is a little bit older, smaller building. It's a high-rise, but I think they even have some 28 square meter units in there. You are paying absolutely for the convenience of being this close to the En Nut BTS. So what you would get over there at the base for 12,000 years ago would probably be 18, 20,000 over here. Again, making the numbers up, but it's just all about convenience. And really the difference between 12,000 baht and 18, it's really not much. And I would pay that all day long to avoid running across a busy street or making a 7 or 8 minute walk in the rain each day, especially if I were a commuter. If you're having to get on that train twice a day at whatever it is, 7 in the morning and 5 p.m., no matter the weather, yeah, the closer you are to the train, the better. If you're retired like me, who cares? You can You can wait out a storm for an hour. You might not want to, so it's really nice, storm or not, to live in a building that close and just run over here to the train. Now, hopefully you're getting off the train in the other direction and walking straight into a mall, or you don't have a 10-minute walk there, but hey, the rain and heat, that's just a part of Bangkok. And there's another building very close to the En Nut. I think that's the Q house, I think. But I would look at little hidden gems like these guys. These two buildings right there, that is a cool little, I'll call it a dead-end street. It's not. There's a gated community at the other end, but there's maybe 50 houses tucked away back there. So that street is very, very quiet. These low-rise buildings normally command less rent than I was on, whatever it was, the 28th floor of the Knightsbridge. Now it's beautiful. Where the Knightsbridge sign is a swimming pool, that like an infinity pool. Up on the top is a rooftop garden, and right to the right of the Knightsbridge sign, that is all co-working space and gym. Again, you're going to pay for those amenities. I'm sure these two smaller apartment buildings, or they might be condos. I want to say at one time I saw a 2-bedroom in there for 24,000 baht. I hate to quote prices because that was years ago, and maybe it's over 30,000 now. I don't know. I'm just saying there's always going to be a difference between a low-rise and a high-rise. And even in a high-rise building, there's going to be a difference between renting on the 12th floor or the 28th floor. I'm on a high floor today, and I was on a high floor at that Knightsbridge, and yeah, I mean, in retrospect, would I pay $200 extra a month to live on a high floor as opposed to, say, the 12th floor? No. It just happened to work out that way, and I got a good deal on both places, so it worked out fine. Now this building way back here, let me point to it. I believe that is the Artemis, I think. That is kind of pushing it. That's probably, if you're walking slow, 15 minutes to get over here to the BTS, and you're not going to save that much more money than Knightsbridge or this Q house. Again, maybe you'll save $75 a month, and maybe you're on a very tight budget. It's just, what's the old saying, the penny wise and pound foolish. At some point, you just have to make a decision. If you're on a strict budget, yet you want to be halfway between the Expat Central and being out on the more edges of town, sure, that would be a good option, to be a little further back from the train. You just have to do the math. If you know you're only saving $75, if you're saving $300 to be back there, absolutely. But I don't know. When I did my shopping and I was kind of set on coming to this En Nut area, I looked at every one of these buildings, at least on paper, and there really wasn't that big a difference. There was between the Knightsbridge and some of the others because it was the newest player in town, but not so much anymore. The other issue is, I mentioned earlier in the video, this used to be the end of the line, En Nut and Mo Chit in the other direction. So this area kind of had that, we'll go out to En Nut to save money vibe for years and years and years. And it kind of still does, but it's really not the case anymore. I would say prices here are not much less expensive than going down the way to Phrom Phong and all. You're going to save a little bit of money. Once again, it's just about your lifestyle. If you want to be 15 minutes away from the center of Bangkok, where you might hang out 5 or 6 times a week, to save that $100 a month. And the other good thing about that Knightsbridge and that Soi 77 area, right at the base of that Knightsbridge is a Big C grocery store. That is one of the reasons that this En Nut area is so popular. There's a bunch of grocery stores. Directly behind me is a Lotus. I'll show you that. And right to the right over here, that complex is called the Century Movie Theater. You have I want to say a 4-screen theater up top. 99% of the movies are in English, but there will occasionally be Top Gun Maverick dubbed in Thai. So just be careful when you're picking your movie if you're not fluent in Thai. Down below, if you need it, is a McDonald's. There's a Via Grocery, or no, is that Tops? Yeah, there's a Tops Market down in the basement. Smaller, but it has a little bit more expat friendly items, A1 stock, steak sauce, that kind of thing. compared to the Big C and Lotus. But speaking of Lotus, right there on the other side of the BTS station, that is the roof to the Lotus. So that makes this a very popular area shopping wise. Wherever you decide to live, you're going to have to figure out how close you are to a large supermarket. Be careful. Some of the realtors will say, oh, well, you can get everything at 7-Eleven, and there's always a 7-Eleven a block away. Yeah, yes and no. If you want your fresh bakery items and huge selections of fruit and all, it's going to be, even one of these smaller grocery stores will have a nice selection. The issue with Via Market and Tops Market, they are a little bit more, if you're familiar in the US with Trader Joe's and Whole Foods, organic items, that kind of thing. You go into the Big C and Lotus, and it's huge bags of local produce and local fruit for pennies. And if you look down the way, you can see all the traffic turning on and off of Soi 77. It's no joke. It's a main thoroughfare. From there, you can drive all the way out to Suvarnabhumi on a series of larger roads. So it's a little like trying to run across Sukhumvit. I would never recommend running across Sukhumvit. In fact, I think you can be fined to do so. Over on Soi 77, that's how you're going to have to cross the street. Now, I've mentioned it in other videos. The further you get down the line, in other words, Soi 77 on the odd side to the right, over here to the left, it's not Soi 76, it's Sukhumvit Soi 50. Now, this is a very popular street with expats going all the way down. I don't know what that building is called, the huge building with the tower or bridge between the two. People live that far down. There are just dozens of buildings on this Soi 50, but these are some of the more popular right here. Ooh, is this called? Okay, it's the Rhythm building. Yeah, I'm looking at the sign. I assume Rhythm on Soi or Sukhumvit Soi 50. This is very popular. It also comes at a cost, being 10 feet from the parking lot of the Lotus and whatever, a 2-minute walk over here to BTS en route. Right there is a little beer complex. If people remember Cheap Charlie's up on Sukhumvit Soi 11, it's been down here in en route for quite a while now, and 6 or 7 other little bars popped up around it. There's an Easy Burger in there, but that's about it as far as, again, I hate to keep talking about, say, like the expat bar scene. You're more than welcome to go into a local Thai bar. It's going to be local music and drinking Thai whiskey and all that. Hey, you're welcome to join in on the party. But if you want to head off to a bar and have some Eagles on the jukebox and whatever Australian rules football playing, that's where you're going to find it, at Cheap Charlie's. Although they're not big into sports there, so that's a bad example. But that is the local hangout. Behind me, up on it's either Soi 87 or 89, is Buddy's Bar and Grill. That's another good choice. But other than that, and the Buddies, I'm not sure if they probably stay open till 2. I know Charlie's does. But this area up here at 9-10 p.m., it's a ghost town, including all the supermarkets and all. Most supermarkets open at 10 in the morning and shut down at 10 p.m. But there's just not a whole bunch to do up here. I hate to keep saying it over and over. You'll have to figure out what your lifestyle is, but way off in the distance, that is the Asolk area, going from Terminal 21 on the left there to the right towards Petchaberry and the airport rail link. Again, that is the more central area where most expats go, just because it's so simple to live there. I would recommend, if money isn't really an issue, well, it's an issue for all of us, but if spending an extra, say, $200, maybe $300 a month more to live down in the central area is not an issue, that's just going to make your life simpler. And then from there, decide, yeah, I can live on the other side of the river in Thonburi, or I can live out in Lat Phrao. I wouldn't move to Lat Phrao first and try to navigate moving to another country like Thailand. That's going to make your life tricky. Come here to the more expat-friendly area. I would say from here en route down to Siam Paragon. I'm not, we'll take a look at the map, and I'm going to give you my opinions and my opinions only. So, yeah, feel free to leave a comment saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, the Nana area is perfect. I personally wouldn't want to live in many parts of the Nana area. It's just, I'm not opposed to the red light area. It's just everybody there is treated as a tourist. I don't care if you've lived there 20 years. When you walk up to a motorbike and you know it's 37 baht on Grab, so you just automatically pull out 60 baht, say, and hand it to the guy and say, hey, let's go to so-and-so. And he goes, what are you talking about? It's 200 baht. That's going to happen in the Nana area, even some parts of the Asok area. It's just, there's just so many visitors up there, not only expats, there's just so many tourists that you're going to be treated as a tourist more often than not. My buddy lived up behind Terminal 21 on Soi 19, and he said that was the case. He's since moved up one train stop in that direction to the Prakanong area, if you're familiar with the W District, and he's loving it. So yeah, en route down the way, ideally to maybe Asok. When you go past Asok and you're getting into Plon Chit and down that way, it gets pretty darn expensive. That's where all the embassies are. The US Embassy, Australian, British, all of them. And all the diplomats want to live within, you know, a half a mile of their embassy. So the apartments are priced accordingly, and that's nothing I want to pay. I'm not on a US diplomat's per diem. This is looking over towards Soi 50. If you go off in this direction, this area is interesting to me, where you see that Cocotel hotel. I think it's a hotel. Yeah, comfortable for your stay. There are a ton of 6- and 8-story buildings. This would be Soi 52, 54. There's a couple of dead-end streets back there. Call it a 5-8 minute walk to the BTS, Lotus. Yeah, really, it's always been an interesting area to me. Kind of like that building I pointed out. I hate to keep bobbing around here and making the video jerky. Those two buildings right there, these are kind of my favorite. They're pretty nice on the inside. Shoot, one of them I looked at on online anyhow, had pergo flooring, and it was just pretty nice. But some of these lower ends, I don't know anything about staying in a building, you know, like this. This one's a little bit more run down, but you know what I'm saying. There are some that are cleaner than others, but for the most part, many of these 4-story type walk-ups, they'll have a business down below, and the proprietors live upstairs, or family members. Every now and then, you'll see a for rent sign on one of these top floor units. To be honest, I don't even know how you would get up there. I don't know. That perhaps there's some back door where you're going through the back of the guy's little sewing shop or whatever it is, and I'm assuming every single one of them, it's going to be stairs to get up to that 4th floor unit. I don't know, but I doubt if there's an elevator in every one of these type buildings. And I've said it a couple of times now, these are just my opinions. I really enjoyed living up here in En Nut, but I am enjoying more living down in Phrom Phong. When I lived here in En Nut, I was down in Phrom Phong and a little bit more central Bangkok almost every night, exploring my new city and meeting new people, different parties and meetups and whatever it was. Whenever you're hooking up with a buddy, it's usually, let's go to XYZ Irish pub over on Soi 30 or whatnot. Very rarely do you make plans with a buddy and it's like, let's meet up on, you know, Soi 104 up in that area. Most of the folks that I know live up that way. It's for a reason. There are some huge private schools up there. I think it's St. Andrews. So a huge amount of expats, they want to live right near the school, and they're not going out every night. They'll go out on Friday night or whatnot, and it's no big deal to jump on the train and go 25 minutes down the way to wherever they're heading. But again, if you're out exploring the city, maybe living that far out is going to be a little cumbersome. And I think I mentioned the name. That's the IDO Verve right at the BTS station. In the back there, you can see the McDonald's. They have a nice little night market on both sides of the train station. Yeah, I went to the movies here often. I believe they have a deal. Most of the theaters do, but here I think it's Tuesday. I'm not sure. I want to say it was like 120 baht. Now this movie theater seemed to get the latest movie 2 weeks later. You want the latest, greatest, you need to go up the way to Prom Pong and the Emporium or Terminal 21, those type movie theaters. This is definitely, there's only two of them. There's a Century here and a Century up at Victory Monument that I know of. So looking at the map, here's what I'm talking about. We're in Non Nude. Prakanong is where the W District is. Ekamai is beautiful. Some very expensive units there. Ekamai and Tong Lo is probably one of the more expensive parts of central Bangkok. I live in Prom Pong. Asok I'll call the middle because you have the junction for the MRT blue line and the light green line. Nana, in between Asok and Nana, you can find some beautiful spots. I like it over here, like Soi 10, 14, 12. I like all this area. On the other side is Soi 16, 18, 20, beautiful. I live down here on Soi 26. But Nana, Soi 4, that is the Nana Plaza, or what's it called? Yeah, the total red light district. So this is a little, it's a bit much. I mean, again, I don't have anything against the red light area, but you're kind of walking through all that every day. Plon Chit, in between Plon Chit and Chit Lom, very expensive. All the U.S. Embassy and ton of embassies right here on Wireless Road. Chit Lom is very nice, still pretty expensive. Siam is where you're going to find Paragon. So in between Siam and Non Nut, that is, again, that's pretty general first grade advice, I guess. Yeah, no kidding. You know, it's like I live, this guy's telling you to live in Osok. Hey, what a deal. I live 28 stops over here, and oh man, my apartment's $150 a month. Yep, I'm sure it is. That's also 60 minutes from, you know, meeting your buddies to watch the ball game down in Asok. Again, if that's not a concern to you, by all means. This area past Siam, you got Ratchathia, Piatai, Victory Monument. This area is actually getting more and more popular. I mean, if you're considering going down the line, here's on Newt, and you're going to keep going. Here's Bering, and you know, other people are going even further down the line, and it just keeps growing. Sure, down here you can probably at Irawan, you could probably get a beautiful, right near the BTS apartment for $200 a month. But to get from there to meet your buddies to watch a game in the Nana, that's going to be a bit of a pain. Again, I'm thinking as a retired person that gets out and about often, but I have these different meetups, and I've met I don't well over 100 people now through the channel, and I'm grateful for everybody I've met. Everybody kind of has the same story. You know, we've worked and we're retired, maybe visited Bangkok a number of times. Now we're living here, and we don't want to live out on the edge of town. We're not trying to save money. We've did that our whole lives, and yeah, everybody wants to save money, but we're okay with spending a few, $200-300, maybe even a whopping $500 extra a month. I had a buddy recently or a new buddy who is in an apartment that is $2,500 US a month, and it's beautiful. It's way out of my retired mailman's price range, but once again, if you plop that apartment down in Miami or Paris, New York City, I'm sure it would be, you know, well over $10,000-15,000 a month. So he's loving his life. And I've mentioned it in other videos, if you're going to be riding these trains daily, you're going to put money on your Rabbit card right there at the booth. You're going to buzz in, 414 left, and go over there and put money on the card when you, I should do it now. Usually when I'm under 500 baht, I toss another 1,000 on there and it lasts me a couple of months. Or you can go over here and buy a single ticket. You can also do the single ticket at the ticket booth there, but oftentimes there's 10 people in each one of those lines. This exit 3 takes you straight into that Century Mall. When you do come to sign up for the Rabbit, bring at least a clean color copy of your passport page. That will probably work. Otherwise, bring your passport, especially with all the rain in the town. even keeping your passport in a nice Ziploc bag. I'm just not a fan of carrying my passport around. That's a pretty bad document to lose. And on the Soi 50 side over here, 10 feet from the BTS, another McDonald's. Very nice food court. They both have food courts, but this one is pretty nice. What else is in there? A Pizza Hut, of course, the Lotus. Anytime you have a Lotus or Big C, there are restaurants attached, fast food, KFC, on and on. But down below here, this is all night. I call it night market, but it's all open, most of it during the day. And right tucked away back there is a 24-hour Burger King. Also maybe 50 feet from the BTS is Soi 81. Now this is kind of an interesting street. There are a couple of more, I believe these are IDO buildings, and hanging out in Cheap Charlie's for a year. That is where everybody seems to live. I think it's the same price as living anywhere else, so why not be a 1-minute walk to the train and a 3-minute walk to the Lotus, as opposed to living over at the Knightsbridge, that kind of thing. So yeah, check out these IDOs. There's like 4 towers right here at the top of Soi 81 if you're interested in this area. I see another IDO down the way. I forget what the next train stop is. Is it Punawinti? I don't know. But these IDOs are kind of popular, small. They're going to be small, but they'll be affordable. But this huge taxi stand at the top of 81, this is an interesting street. If you go down the way, there is a building not far down, probably 6 stories high, beautiful swimming pool, but really affordable. It's called the Chambers or Chamber. And I've also met 2 or 3 people that live in there. I don't know what it cost, but I remember a guy telling me he had the larger room for, I think he said it was 10 or 11,000 baht. And at the time, this conversation happened 2 years ago, he told me he had moved out of the small room, whatever that is, for 9,000 baht. So let's assume it was, again, I don't know, 25 meters, but there are options like that. And here's the Burger King at the top of Soi 52. And those are all the other little, I'll call them low-rise buildings back there. Hey, so there you go. There's my 2 cents on moving over and picking an area as an expat. I can't emphasize enough, just make your life simple. There are going to be enough challenges with immigration and whatever the case might be. Everybody's challenge is different. I kind of ease into living over here fairly easy. I miss some certain items I can't get, and it's just not as easy as ordering something on Amazon and it'll be here tomorrow. Amazon's actually a pain. You're supposed to pay the customs when you order something on Amazon if they say they'll deliver it to Thailand, and then 9 out of 10 times when it arrives, there'll be a notice in your mailbox to come to the post office to pay customs. And it looks like they're going to take up a lane of traffic here. We just had a little motorbike accident. They're taking pictures of each other and taking pictures of the damage to the bumper. Yeah, I mean, one more reason to make sure if you're driving anywhere in Thailand, you are 100% licensed and all, or it's going to be a real issue if somebody, God forbid, got hurt. But again, this is just my take on where to come over and get started finding a place to live. Once you get over here and you've roamed around the whole city, you might want to go out down the line to, say, Ari. That's a very kind of hippie, hipster area, coffee shops, record stores, but it's a good ways from the center of Bangkok. Maybe another 20 or 25 minutes to get over there. Maybe it's not that far. Or you might want to live on the edge of town. Yeah, I can jump on the train and go 50 minutes into Bangkok a couple of times a month, whatever the case is. But if you have no idea, you just want to come to Bangkok, you came here, maybe visited once, maybe you've never been here, well then move as close as you can to Asok or Prompong. Now here's the blue bus. That's the government bus, Bangkok to Pattaya. It runs every half hour. It's like $2.50 one way. You'll get on that bus at the Ekamai bus station. I see plenty of empty seats on this bus. It is a Saturday at 4 p.m. If you try to get on that bus Friday afternoon, you show up at the bus station. They keep changing the rules. They used to let you buy a ticket, say Thursday afternoon. You'd say, give me the 11 in the morning Friday bus. They've kind of knocked that off. They still allow it when you get to Pattaya. You can say, I want a bus ticket for 5 days from now, Sunday afternoon at 5 p.m. and they'll sell it to you and put you on the list. But here at Ekamai, I don't know, maybe I got the wrong ticket lady. She said we don't do that anymore. But again, your miles may vary. I'll probably try doing that again. But what I was getting at was a very popular time like Friday afternoon or Sunday afternoon coming back to Bangkok. You'll show up at noon and they might say the noon, 12:30, 1:30 are sold out. You get on the 2 p.m. bus. Bit of an exaggeration, but not much. It's a very popular way to get in between the two towns nice and cheap. Hey, so thanks so much for watching my little video and my opinions on making your life easy, making the move over here. It's all a personal decision, but you can only go so wrong. The worst you're going to do is find yourself 30 minutes from where you like to hang out. And I wouldn't recommend to count on breaking your lease, but every lease I've ever signed, basically when you move in, you pay first month, last month, and a security deposit. So if it's $500, you're paying $1,500 to move in. If you want to break that lease in month 3, you can do so. They're just going to keep the last month and the deposit, assuming you did no damage. So even if you've made a mistake and you signed a year lease, just get out of it if you have to. Again, I'm a little bit more man of my word on and on, but I don't know, that's not that bad a deal to the landlord to keep basically 2 free months, especially if they rent your place in the next week. So thanks again for watching. There'll be more videos to come, and consider subscribing if you have not. More looks around town, including pretty much every street off of Sukhumvit from Soi 1. Actually, on the other side, that's not Sukhumvit, that's Plonchit and Chitlom Road, and then Rama, whatever, up by Siam Paragon. I did most of those streets as well. So search my channel for Soi 87 or Soi 52, Soi 13. I did a video or multiple videos on all these streets, just out showing you what's around. So take it easy. Have a great afternoon.